Hello, guys.
Hello.
So, welcome to the first episode of a new interview video series that I plan to upload on the House of Ygra channel. This video series will be hosted by me. My name is Imperial. I am the guitarist, songwriter, artist for Vietnamese melodic black metal band Aircross, and I also run a label called House of Ygra. And I'm very honored to have my hosts here for the first ever episode, and they are Rêvasseur. They are a melodic black death metal band.
That's right, of course.
Melodic death metal band based in Hanoi, Vietnam. However, they have a very international lineups. And joining with me here today are three members from Rêvasseur. Do you guys want to introduce yourself and your roles within the band?
Okay, my name is Satoshi Fukuda from Japan. I'm playing the guitar and composing the songs. Nice to meet you.
My name is Liam W. I'm the vocalist for Rêvasseur.
Hey, I'm Minh. I'm from Hanoi and I play bass.
Hello, guys. So, usually for the first few episodes, I would do this video interview series whenever there's a new release coming out of our label. But hopefully, in the near future, we could do a more, I would say, with more frequent episode, and we can interview more people from the Vietnamese extreme metal scene, because I think that there's a lot of people with a lot of interesting story. But without further ado, I want to jump right into the main topic of today, which is in 22nd of October 2021, this year, you guys released your debut EP in Doubtless Memory.
That's right.
So in Doubtless Memory is now available in all streaming service through House of Ygra. So it has been more than a month, I would say, nearly 2 months since the release date.
Yeah.
How is the reception so far?
I think considering we play quite a niche genre and we haven't played a show yet, so we're not completely a real band just yet, I would say the response has been quite good. You know, some people have reached out, and it's fascinating for me to see people coming out of the woodwork and telling us their favorite song on the EP, like whatever song they've connected with. How about you guys?
Yeah, we are very glad to receive the kind of positive feedback, but maybe we need to get more feedback to play the shows.
Okay. And so yeah, I think that, you know, for a small project, the reception has been always has been quite nice. I mean, especially for a project starting from Hanoi, Vietnam, which I mean, in like compared to like the metal worlds of the, you know, like the global metal scene, we're like no man's land. I think that there's not much bands out of our country, and there's not much band actually actively promoting, you know, to outside of the country. But I think that you guys also have like a strong advantage, which is like you guys are international bands. Liam is from New Zealand, and Satoshi is from Japan. So both of those countries also have like a quite great metal scene.
Especially Japan, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to that later. That's for sure. So about the EP in Doubtless Memory, can you explain more about the name of the?
Yeah. So the line in Doubtless Memory comes from our fourth track, Days Long Erased, and it kind of encapsulates all the themes in the EP. So you've got strong feelings of passion, be it love, be it vengeance, be it war. You've also got the idea of humanity caving to nature, or humanity going against nature, but being taken over by nature, having to give themselves back to nature. Then there's random songs based on whatever fucking book I'm reading at the time. But in Doubtless Memory itself, where am I going with this? No, essentially, we didn't want to just have a cheesy, like, let's just call it after a song on the EP. We wanted to at least have something a little bit different, maybe to encourage people to delve deeper into the lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. When did the writing for the EP start? Like, how's the creative process
Mm.
behind it?
How long ago was it? Like,
Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 months before the EP.
yeah. But because we had the COVID lockdown, so we'd started the band and then we were rehearsing quite a lot, and then the lockdown happened and it kind of forced us to start seriously writing because out of boredom essentially.
Yeah.
And so maybe when was the lockdown? Like April. So from April to about maybe September, we started putting songs together and like recording at home, and
It was like for 5 months.
I'd say so. Yeah.
But I remember that there's some remnants of demos before that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm.
So we would go to your house, right, and we would
Yeah, it's-
record there.
Yeah, we made a demo, but we never released our stuff.
Yeah. So basically, when you guys when the pandemic hits and the lockdown hits, and you seriously get into the mindset of writing the album, you basically start from scratch.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So what is like the creative roles behind each part of the? Oh, so
Yeah.
I would
Actually,
assume it's Satoshi.
Yeah, I
Maestro.
made all guitar and bass and drumming rhythm. So after I make a kind of draft song, so I released two guys and checking and giving advice, kind of drumming, guitar melody or kind of playing. So I get the advice and I will complete the
Okay.
songs.
So I would say it's you would do like 70-80% of the work, and then you would
It's kind
give the bands the demos, and then they will give you the feedback. Basically. So that's quite nice.
And then Satoshi would normally send us like a demo track of the instrumentals, and then I would make vocal lines and then pen lyrics based on that. So essentially it was really good in the lockdown because we were able to just utilize technology and whatnot to send into the files and do a lot of it at home. We didn't really have to go to a studio per se. The beauty of being in 2021 is that it's so much easier to record, I feel, these days.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, like these days you can just easily produce like a bedroom kind of metal project.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Come back to like the sonic of the album. I mean, like from my perspective, I think that there's a lot of interesting connection between the sounds of Rêvasseur and the old school melodic death metal bands like At the Gates, Dutch and Purely, and especially there's a huge connection to old Swedish death metal band like Entomb and Dismember.
Yeah, I heard it too.
That's spot on.
Satoshi is wearing
Yep.
a Wolverine Blues Entomb shirt. And and bands like also Dismember and
for sure.
Carnage, those kind of bands.
Fuck yeah, we
So-
worship Dismember, man. Oh.
Yeah.
So what would you guys say is like the and I mean why there's those kind of like classic elements? I think that there's also like a nice modern touch to it. And when I first heard it with my bandmates, when I first received the demos, I think that there's like a nice combination between those old school elements that I have mentioned, and there's kind of like this new deathcore kind of poppy vibe
Oh,
to
okay,
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Interesting,
I mean, of course, like for us, deathcore is such a taboo word that we don't really want to mention. But I feel like some of the way that you guys write song is kind of similar to like the modern deathcore stuff, where it's like very poppy, and I think that's also what's like important for
Sure.
a good melodic death metal band. What you guys say?
Yeah, actually, when I make music, I don't intend to make a music like old school. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
intend to make a modern melodic death metal.
Yeah,
But as you know, so my base of my music style is old school Swedish metal.
yeah.
That's why maybe so everyone can hear like old school
Yeah.
feelings maybe.
It's ingrained into the DNA for sure. And I think that that's also really nice. When I first heard the single, which is Non Timbo Malum,
That's the one, yes.
and that single, I think what kind of set you guys apart from the melodic death metal band from Vietnam, that I think that there's actually D beats in it.
Right. Yeah.
When I first heard that beat, I was like, oh yeah. They listen to like Entomb, they listen to like the Swedish stuff. because- yeah.
It's the
So
one, man.
that's pretty nice. So for these records, what would you guys say are like the main influence? But like, of course I know that you
Yeah.
guys told me that when you write you don't think of any specific records. But is there any like influence that you think of?
I mean, for me, like vocally, my main influence would be it's a band from New Zealand called Indra Response. Shout out Indra Response. Yeah, fucking amazing melodic death metal band. And then there's another band called Depths from New Zealand that his vocals are so cavernous, and he has the real nice lows that just, I don't know, hit you in the chest when you hear it.
That's nice.
So that's for sure like what I try and bring. I'm not sure how successfully to the table.
And Ming, what is I would say as like the influence for you?
I would say my main influence is something like Tool. So I want to bring that kind of sound and complexity through the instrument that I play.
Yeah. And Satoshi, like you mentioned before, then your influence are like the Swedish stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So when I make a music, so I try to make a kind of catchy and easy to remember the melody music. So I influenced by the influence. Influence is so catchy and easy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And I think that's like also like how you define like a good melodic death metal band is that it needs to be an actual death metal band, and there also needs to be some kind of like there's a pop element to it, I suppose, because let's be honest, most of the melodic death metal band these days are making pop music. And I would say so.
I mean, I do like the pop elements in In Flames too, but what I like about In Flames is that they retain some heaviness.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's what we try and bring, right? The heaviness with the catchiness,
Yeah.
Our songs are short, like I think we have one song that's like 5 minutes long maximum, and that's long for us,
Yeah.
The rest of them are like just over 3 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, Satoshi, I actually have a question for you. Do you listen to an album called Rain Chaos by Dissection?
Yeah, of course I love it.
Oh
Yeah. So maybe my intro song is very similar to intro with Rain Chaos. Are you ready?
when I first heard that, I was like, oh, this is just already a good time because it sounds so much like Rain Chaos.
Yeah.
Like Rain Chaos is an album by Dissection that a lot of people hate because it didn't lead up to like their first two albums, Somberlane and Stone the Lightsbane. But to me, it's their best album because it's basically the black album of melodic death metal. It's really good.
That's pretty
that
apt.
part.
That's pretty spot on, man.
All right, so and
Resume.
we're back from a very nice and long break where we discuss about Varg.
We discussed everything and nothing and everything.
Yeah, we just talk about Varg all the time.
Just took shit, with Varg.
We were talking about the music of Rêvasseur, and one kind of aspect that I also want to mention is the lyrics. And I think that the lyrics is mostly written by you, right, Liam?
Yep.
Yeah. And like you said before, it's written with based on books that you read, and also I think that there's also an overarching theme throughout the records. Would you say so?
Yeah, like the songs are different thematically, but there is the common themes of humanity, right? So you've got the first track, Non Te Mel Malum, which is Lovecraftian horror inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. And it's imagining as a human being able to try and comprehend something that we don't have words in the English language for, or any human language for. And then you've got other songs like IDXR, Days Long Arrays, which are like more like nature and energy, cosmos, that type of thing. So, but there's the thing is, there's some songs that are relatively serious, like Of Disgrace and Honor, Non Te Mel Malum. They are quite serious in terms of the themes. They're based on books I was reading. So you got Of Disgrace is about revenge, essentially. Non Te Mel Malum, horror.
Yeah.
Then you got Days Longer Rage, which is I literally was thinking 1,000 years from now, what would I say to my girlfriend when we're dead and gone,
Yeah.
and energy in the cosmos,
Yeah.
and we're floating in the cosmos,
Yeah.
and what would I say to her?
Yeah.
So there's a dichotomy there.
And a little bit of sidetrack, but I'm also like a huge fan of a extreme metal podcast called Terminus, and those guys. Well, shout out to Terminus. They are like to me the best extreme metal podcast there is.
Really?
They are very informative, hosted by two very attractive hosts.
I have to check this out.
Yeah. But anyway, for usually when Terminus they have a review, they would usually post on Instagram or Facebook, and they would comment, or like they would have like a specific way to describe a band, and not just the genre or a word that indicates the subgenres of music, but there's also like an adjective that describe the mood or the feeling or like the theme of the band. And they have, like for example, described Alcross as a decadence gothic black metal band, which I think is quite interesting.
Quite spot on.
Yeah, like if you ask someone, what Alcross is, and you said, like decadence gothic black metal band, they'd be like, oh, so you guys are Cradle of Filth but hornier. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So and I've when I promote the album through House of Ygra, I've also kind of used that approach for Rêvasseur, and a term that I use for you guys is cosmic melodic death metal. And I think that's quite correct. Would you say so?
I would say so,
Yeah.
man. I would say it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's always that feeling of like you guys don't think about like science fiction stuff, but there's
Yeah.
kind of like an otherworldly feeling to your music, and I think
Oh,
that's
awesome, man.
that's right. Yeah.
Cool.
With Rêvasseur, I think there's also like a nice combination between this Western philosophical idea, but there's also like a very Eastern like touch to it with with the music.
I mean, that must come across in the guitaring, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the band. So Rêvasseur, what is the circumstance that leads to the formations of Rêvasseur?
Yeah, so the way I met these guys, I was posting vocal covers online on
Okay.
Facebook and then promoting them through the Hanoi music pages. And Chung, actually, or the guitarist, shout out Chung, he hit me up and said, let's meet up. And from that, when I met these guys, what was really refreshing is that they were so goddamn organized. They were, from the get-go, establishing schedules, and then, we're going to meet on this day, fixing things, making things fixed so that we have to meet every week, which I think led to more rehearsals, more writing of the songs. And it came together very organically and very quickly as well.
Yeah.
Within like about a week or so of meeting, you guys, I think we had a first rehearsal, and we'd written one song, which we ended up scrapping, but we wrote a song, and some covers we were doing too.
Yeah.
So it was very quick, very very quick. But just due to COVID lockdowns and things, it was a bit stop start until we finally released the EP.
So basically, I think from what you say, it's Chung is the guy that organized and kind of gather everybody.
He
around.
did, yeah, for sure.
Firstly, so when I post the Facebook that I want to start a new heavy metal band in Hanoi about last year October. So firstly, so Trunk contacted me to organize a new heavy metal band. So Trunk wants to establish a new melodic death metal band. So Trunk was played in I forget the name. So Trunk played a melodic death metal band about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm sure. So they Trunk try to find Liam or me or Ang. Then so we can get organized. We form it.
Yeah.
So a little bit of the clarifications for people who maybe have no idea. Rêvasseur has 5 members. We are sitting with 3 members here, with Liam, the vocalist, Minh, the bassist, Satoshi, the guitarist. There's also another guitarist. He's Chung. He's the one that gathered the band. And there's also Abyssal, who is the drummer.
That's right.
Yeah. So, what is like being a band in a pandemic climate? Because, like you said, you guys were formed in last year September. Is that correct?
to December or
Yeah,
January.
I think January is when
So-
it got serious, right?
So
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
it's like the height of the COVID.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, in Vietnam.
Yeah.
So, how was it?
Yeah, how was it for you, man?
We could gather about 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
in January, February, March. The more at least we already have three music about 3 original musics. Yeah, maybe Sign of the Side, Don't You Remember. Yeah, so it's very smooth to make a EP. So we already have about over 9 or 8 original songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with COVID is that it's a bad thing for sure, right? It stops us from playing shows, which is what we want to do. But I think if it wasn't for COVID, I don't know if we would have recorded the EP as quickly as we did. You know, 'cause it forced us to get onto it. You know.
Yeah. So, Ming, what kind of
Yeah.
attracted you to Rêvasseur from in the first place?
It's just a hunch, basically, just a hunch that I feel like their music, the first time that we practiced, it hits me like right in the hollow part of my heart.
Okay.
And like, whoa, I like the speed, I like the rhythm, I like how it hits my whole body.
Ah, that's
And
nice.
that's it. It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Awesome.
there's a lot of kind of those, I would say, lightning in the bottom moments that kind of struck you. So yeah, makes sense. So the thing that I kind of want to touch upon Rêvasseur as well is that so you guys were formed in December, let's say that, and Abyssal, who is also the drummer for the session drummer for El Cross, he contacted me and asked me what is my thought on the band. And when he first mentioned the name Rêvasseur, I thought that you guys are a post-black band because Rêvasseur is French for daydreamers.
That's right. Yeah.
And
yeah,
my first thought is that, oh, there's an Alsace band from the city. That's so nice. And when I saw the very beautiful logo with a lotus, I think designed by
My wife.
yeah,
Yeah.
Satoshi's wife.
Yeah.
I thought that I was like talking to like the guy from Aircross, and it's like, oh my god, we have like a Alsace band from within the scene. And when I think and when Abyssal sent me the demo, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? This is like Entomb worship death metal.
Yeah.
I think it's such like a cool juxtaposition.
Yeah, man. Like, so like I speak French and English, and when we were deciding on band names, I was suggesting to the guys, like, let's have a band name that's it's not super clear what genre we are. You know, we could be electronic, we could be indie, we could be goth, we could be metal. You know, actually, I was mainly influenced by the name Elcrost, because Elcrost, I feel, is a name that it sounds metallic as well, but it could be electronic, it could be anything, you know, it could be ambient, whatever. So I didn't want to call ourselves like, you know, Blood and Guts or whatever, you know, like typical metal name. Ambiguity's fun, I think.
So we just came back from a break. That is totally not because we fucked up the audio. And in this break, we of course talk about nothing but Nergouts from Behemoth, and talk about how he is our yoga overlord.
Oh yes.
So
Stretch for Satan.
we have talked about. So just double check to see that we don't fucked up the audio again. So we have talked before about Rêvasseur, about the band, and also about the release of the new EP. Now I kind of want to go into each individual and talk about each of you and talk about like your backgrounds. And firstly, I want to talk to Satoshi. So I know that you also have another death metal band called Frost Raw, and it's previously known as Frostbite.
Oh, you know very well.
Totally didn't rehearse that.
Same.
So and it was from it was formed in 2013, right?
Maybe.
What is like the history behind Frostbite?
Yeah. So when I was a university student, so we formed the first bite. So when I went to the Netherlands to see a neurotic death press in Netherlands. So I met a Japanese guy who also old school death metal.
Yeah.
So we get close and we form to Frostbite. Yeah. So after forming the Frostbite, so we released only one EP and
Yeah.
only one show. And after 5 years later, so we changed the name to Frostbore.
Mhm.
So we get a contract with a German label that's called Testimony Records by chance. Well, Testimony Record recommend us to change the name because Frostbite is not so much unique. Yeah. So
Frostbite is definitely more unique. I think there's kind of like this.
It's easy to find a Google.
Yeah.
It's a dope name as well.
And,
Yeah.
where are you from? Originally from Japan?
Tokyo.
Tokyo. Yeah. Because I know that there are some. I'm not very kind of well informed about Japanese extreme metal, but I of course know some of the bigger names like Psy or Sabat. Those kind of famous first wave, second wave band. And like Japan has such a interesting development when it comes to extreme metal.
Yeah,
Because-
maybe. In the 18th, so first extreme metal was kind of grindcore.
Yeah.
Grindcore like SOB, GISN, Rose Rose. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many kind of punkish grindcore band in
Yeah, yeah.
18th. So that's developed, and so I'm not sure. So, but there is so many kind of grindcore and noisy and thrash
Yeah.
death metal band in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, so they already start all the way from the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so I think that's actually quite interesting because if you look at some of the regional scene, it's always based on a movement somewhere else. I feel like, especially like in the 90s, it's mostly based in like the 80s of like the black metal scene, like with Venom and those kind of thing,
Yeah.
or
True.
the thrash metal or death metal scene. But like Japan has like developed their scene kind of parallel to
I
like the
think so.
like bands from the
Sabbath is also born in 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, so first grindcore band called SOB has so much kind of influence to also Napalmless.
Yeah.
Napalmless or Brutal Tools also listen to the SOB.
Yeah.
Right,
There's
right,
a very influence, I think. And in 19, but there is not so much, but there is a kind of brutal death metal or slumming death metal is developed. But I think this band is based on the grindcore band, I think.
Yeah. But I think that Japan has also kind of been like a hotspot for melodic death metal, right? Because I know that a lot of melodic death metal bands actually go to Japan and produce their CD there, and also play a lot of live shows there as well.
Yeah, so Japanese melodic death metal is kind of in Japanese visual kei, V-rock.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of makeup, costumes.
Yeah.
They so also brutal strumming death metal bands also makeuping. Pretty
Really?
sure. Yeah, it's various. Yeah, but
I have like quite limited, I would say, knowledge of the Japanese death metal scene. Although I think in like the early 2010s, there are two bands that came to Vietnam and they're from Japan. First one is Defiled, and second one is
Gots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
So I mean, those two are like quite, I would say, big names for Japanese death metal.
Also,
I would say, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
these two bands is a kind of legendary bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, one will Defiled member makes a new band called for Ghost.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
it's almost same, not same.
Can you check these out?
So basically they share like the same lineage kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, and of course, like you said, like they also have like a great grindcore scene. I know there's a band called Abort Mastification,
Yeah.
and there's also I think Butcher ABC or something.
Yeah,
like
Butcher
that.
ABC.
They came to Hanoi, right?
Yeah.
I saw them. The crazy gas mask.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were fucking mental. That drummer, my god, I thought he was gonna fly away. He was so fast at one point. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
I mean,
They're sick,
speaking
though.
about interesting, cool juxtaposition, there's also like a band that I recently discovered called Bloody Cum Shot.
I don't
That's
know
the
about
best
that.
name
Okay,
ever.
so when I heard Bloody Cum Shot,
Jesus
I
Christ.
thought that it's like a porno grind or like a grindcore band. Dude, you know what they play?
I don't know, slam maybe?
No,
or?
no, they play symphonic melodic death metal.
What?
Really?
Fuck, Jesus
So like,
Christ.
imagine Children of Boredom, but like Japan.
Oh my
really?
god,
That's pretty
really?
interesting. So Liam,
Aye.
is there any like regional scenes in New Zealand that's specific
Mm.
in one kind of genre? For example, like is there a city that focus on one genre of metal?
To be honest, when I was there, I was actually listening more to hip hop. I got into metal. I mean, I was always into metal, but I really got into it when I moved here because
Yeah.
the scene here was really interesting. But I know there's a city in the South Island called Christchurch that quite a lot of good bands come from. Shout out Organectomy and Blindfolded Led to the Woods. Really good death metal. Where I'm from, Auckland, there are some pretty good bands too. Shout out Indra Response, obviously. The guy's fucking one of the best melodic death metal albums ever, I reckon. It's incredible. Like emo riffs in parts with melodic death metal. Oh. But our scene's really small. Like, you go to shows there and you do see the same people again and again and again. Small venues, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got a band like there's in a smaller town called Palmerston North. You got a band called Depths, which is like I feel like they were doing the kind of genty death metal before genty death metal became a thing.
Yeah.
That their releases, I don't know. I guess they were influenced by Meshuggah or something.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
like Meshuggah is like the forefather of the whole genre.
Yeah.
thing.
But they were doing a lot of this before a lot of the bands started doing it too. Like the kind of the chuggy with the kind of ambiguous leads over the top.
Yeah.
And they're incredible. They're
Ooh,
fucking
okay.
amazing.
That
Depths,
sounds nice.
Depths, man, they're really fucking good.
And also, well, first of all, I also want to shout out to two other bands. I mean, like, first band doesn't need a shout out because I think to me, they like the most famous, maybe like New Zealand extreme metal band ever.
Ulcerate, yeah.
Ulcerate, yeah.
Ulcerate, yeah,
Ulcerate is like
yeah.
Like when it comes to New Zealand, I always remember Ulcerate, and there's also like a new band, black metal band that I also listen to a lot called Sojourner.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know these. I
Yeah,
don't know these
they're
guys.
like obscure. I
Oh,
think,
okay.
yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, also right. And there's also like it could be my ignorance speaking, but is there any connection between like the New Zealand scene and the Australia scene? Because I know
Yeah,
that-
for sure. There's gonna be absolutely. Like the bands tour together and stuff.
Okay, so yeah, and of course we have to shout out to our mutual friends, Vic Center,
Yes.
Post Black project by
Yes.
B
Very
and
good, yeah.
M from I think it's Brisbane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so which is
but
again,
from
you
Australia,
wouldn't think
Yeah,
you wouldn't think such cold sounding black metal would come from one of the most sunny places on earth, right?
Yeah, but they are really nice, and of course this year they released Polarity, which I have been
Banger of an album.
listening to non-stop. They're really good.
That makes
And,
two of us, my
a
bro.
little bit of self-promotion, but Aircross, my band, also released a split with them next year, and it has been quite nice. And yeah, and of course I know that in the future there's also some quite interesting project that is in the work between us and Vic Center, and can't wait to announce to everyone soon. So I also want to ask Minh, what is like your thoughts on the Vietnamese metal scene? Because when did you become aware of the local Vietnamese scene, or when did you start to join the music scene here?
Well, in high school, I used to be a metal journalist
Oh,
for a paper online,
what is it called?
Rock Passion.
Ah,
Yeah, and I was in the metal department. We have like two. One is for rock and one is for metal. And I was the metal guy.
okay.
So back then there was like a new band called Seismic Origin.
Oh, I remember
So,
them. Yeah.
I went to the show the first time, and that was my first article actually. So that's when I discovered like, holy shit, there's a whole scene for this, and I have been missing out like all my life. Even
Very
though I went to the same school as the lead guitarist from Voluptuary, and he told me about his band, and like I listened to their album, and it just went on from there, and I just discovered a lot of other bands that they are alive and kicking. Like holy shit, there is a scene and it's alive. and it's
Yeah.
just so vibrant, and it. I just feel like people are missing out, man.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I assume this is during 2015, 2016.
Yeah, about that time.
Yeah, because that's when Voluptuary released their
Yeah.
first album. So people who don't know, Voluptuary is like a groovy death metal band in Vietnam,
Yeah.
and I would often describe them as simplified Meshuggah.
Very danceable.
Yeah.
Very
danceable.
danceable.
But it's also very cold and mechanical. in a
Yeah, I
way.
love
And,
Voluptuary. Shout out
so
Voluptuary.
In Vietnam, it's kind of quite clearly divided between the northern metal scene and the southern metal scene.
Yes, exactly.
And in the south, of course, you have Chung Loki and his Bloody Chunks
Mhm.
label, which is, I will say, till now one of the most influential heavy metal or not extreme metal label in Vietnam. And in the north, there's not much so. It's actually quite barren. And I remember that when I first started out, there's band every now and then. There's Final Stage. They kind of appeared in 2008, I think, when they released their first album, and then it was
Yeah.
kind of like there's an album, and then there's kind of like a period without any album, and then I remember that when in 2016, when Voluptuary released their debut album, it
Yeah.
was really good because we. At that point, from the north, we have nothing.
Yeah,
we've heard nothing like that
we
before.
actually have
Yeah.
nothing.
We have basically nothing except for some demos and some, just like
Yeah.
community rock and shit like that. So
I guess it's just a bit more open down south, right? They,
Yeah, it's more open
Yeah.
down south.
down
Like
south.
there's
But-
a lot of bands out there in
Yeah.
the south, and not much here in the
Yeah.
north. I don't know why, but
You know, I know the south has a lot of good hardcore bands, though, right? Like,
yeah.
shout out District 105,
Yeah.
the boys in District
No, like-
105.
I think because the south, there's one guy, and he kind of start the whole hardcore
Hui.
scene there.
When we,
And no, not him. I think there's like another guy that is like prior to him.
oh really?
Yeah.
I
And
know he's quite involved. He's quite involved with that scene.
I think that I think
the
I
Prince of Saigon.
I could be wrong. Okay, so disclaimer: everything that I've spilled out today is unresearched, and it's just what I remember. So I could be wrong, but I
These are
think
my views and my views alone.
Yeah, it's my view alone. So don't get me started to talk about VOD
Don't
and
cancel me.
Zoom, okay? But I remember that there's a guy that kind of laid the foundation for that scene, the hardcore scene, and I think that he's now the vocalist for I'm not sure it's like a alternative emo visual K.
Oh, yeah. I
think
know the
that's
name.
him.
I know the name.
Although
Is
I
that
forgot
right?
his-
He's like the OG guy.
Yeah, I think he's
Oh,
the
fuck,
OG
okay,
guy.
okay.
I think he's like the guy that kind of laid the foundation for the hardcore United or hardcore whatever scene there. But they have a strong
Yeah.
hardcore scene.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Actually,
Strong.
straight up, when I saw, okay, shout out District 105, shout out the bro Hui. I wanted to start a band after I saw him on stage,
yeah.
and then we talked, and he was like, "Oh, you should do this," and he encouraged me a lot to try and do this shit, do this crazy metal shit, and I feel like if it wasn't for seeing that show, I wouldn't have been as keen to start Rêvasseur, as
Yeah.
that guy. I know that guy really runs a lot of shit down there.
yeah, he's
Invites
like the
bands.
Asian Mitch Lucker, you know.
Yeah, man, yeah. He's fucking G. He's a fucking
Yeah.
G. Love that guy.
Okay. And yeah, I think that when I was abroad, there are two records that I mean, like when I'm abroad, I kind of see only from the distance how it goes. And I remember that after Voluptuary released their album, the Vietnamese scene, or at least the northern scene, kind of went into a hibernation. Where there's not much release around. I mean, there's an EP here.
It's because
and-
you went away. That's why.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I
'cause
know.
you went away and then went into hibernation.
Of course. I mean, like back then, I'm still only a fan, and I'm too young to make music, and I remember that there's one record that came out and blew my mind because I was like, oh shit, the quality is so good, and that is Good Lord first album.
Ah, true, yeah.
Okay? I mean, like a lot of people tend to kind of like shut them out because they are like fun-loving people, but the music is actually legit. Like I would say they are the first thrash band in Vietnam that actually play something that resembles thrash metal.
They're always a party live as well. They're always so much fun.
Yeah, man, they're so fun.
So much fun.
And respect to all members from that band. And I know that, and of course, Sergey also helped out with Alcross.
Yeah. That's
He
true.
played with us in our first show, so yeah, that's always been nice.
Yeah,
So
no.
and that's what I kind of want to I think aim for the video series is that I can interview some of these people in the future, hopefully. So yeah. So as we start winding down and just start shooting the shit, I suppose. What has been your favorite release of 2021?
Oof.
I listened to Rêvasseur featuring the Better and Me, Cannibal Corpse,
Yeah, kind of always good.
Turnstile, The Heaven.
Oh yeah, they released Infinite Granite.
Yeah. It's a very nice.
What do you think about the change in the sounds?
Actually, they use so much clean voice, so I think it's changed so much style, but it's still good. I think.
Mm.
I think that album
Is
is
it clean vocals?
Hmm?
Is it
yeah,
clean
yeah,
vocals?
dude,
Oh.
dude, it's a shoegaze album.
Oh, really?
But
Ah.
I think that record is the record that show people that Def Leppard has always been a shoegaze band all along,
Mhm.
and they have been pretending to play black metal.
Yeah, it's not the black metal. It's kind of post rock metal.
Yeah.
No, I must check this out because I think for me, like, you know, when you get some clean vocals, I'm here for it when it comes to shoegaze. Mm.
Yeah. So that one, I mean, I still have mixed feeling about Infinite Granite. I think I have to kind of do some soul searching before I can decide if I like it or hate it.
Maybe it's a grower, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best albums are the ones that you maybe initially don't love, you know, and you kind of start listening more and more, and you discover more about it.
Actually, I mean, it's what I would describe as a reverse grower. As in, like, I love it from the first listen, and then the more I listen to it, the more I hate it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
I was like that with the volumes, the recent volume. I don't know if you fuck with like metalcore, death,
no.
whatever genre
like,
that is.
oh, okay, so metalcore, I only listen to, like, you know, like the metallic hardcore stuff, like Converge.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, those kind of things.
So the volumes release, that was good, but I was the same. I listened to it
Yeah.
first, and I was like, I love it, and the more I listened to it, I was like, okay, you know,
Okay.
a couple of tracks.
Yeah.
All right, so okay, 2021's release, easily Mental Cruelty, Hill to Die Upon.
Yeah.
I'm a core kid, man. I love that shit. Signs of the Swarm, House of Ygra, very good. But just to redeem myself in your eyes, I would say
Dude,
Violet Cold's Violet's Cold latest one, I think, is the punkest shit out. You're an Azerbaijani band
Yeah.
that puts the pride symbol over the Azerbaijani flag,
Yeah.
inciting death threats from the government, and making some of the best shoegazy post black metal out.
Okay.
For me, that was a definite replay for days, man.
You really need to redeem your cult credit because
Cool credits.
cult credit has been hugely decreased throughout this interview.
Excuse. I think at heart I do gravitate to like the deathcore core sort of scene.
Yeah.
I just love the things the vocalists do.
Yeah.
You know, and the different noises they can make. It just
Yeah.
blows my fucking mind. And it encourages me to try and do that too, you know, try and like extend my own vocals.
Yeah. And I also think that in the in Australia and in New Zealand, there's also like a huge hardcore. No, not hardcore, but like huge metalcore.
Hardcore for sure in New Zealand.
Metalcore.
Yeah, man, we've got Exile,
Yeah.
Antagonist AD.
Mm-hmm.
Man, some of the best hardcore out.
Yeah.
Really heavy as well. Really good breakdowns, you know.
Yeah.
If that's your thing, you know.
No,
Two-steppy.
no, it's not my thing at all. So Ming, what is like your favorite records of this year?
I think for me it's the new 2 songs from System of a Down.
Oh.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it really calls back to the old classic thing that they do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
System
that's
of Down
just
actually is inspired by black metal a lot. People don't
Yeah,
know.
Really?
yeah, they
Just
are.
like-
for real, really?
They are.
Damn.
Yeah, when they were
Like-
doing mushrooms and just listening to black metal and just burning
Get
down
out.
everything. Yeah.
Really?
Like
Shit.
check out Mesmerize, which is their heaviest album. There's 2 songs there that is legit. Like there's a song called Cigarro.
Oh
that has
yeah.
a kind of black metal breakdown, and there's a song called Revenger. That
Yeah,
legit
Revenger.
has
Yeah.
a section that sounds like some melodic dawn kind of melodic black metal shit.
True.
Mm.
Also,
weird.
Serge from System lives like half the year in New Zealand too.
Oh, that's
He's
cool.
got a big link to New Zealand. Like he recorded his solo stuff. He did like an
Yeah.
orchestral live album in Auckland.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's very much a fan of New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So of course I think you guys already know my favorite records of the year. It's either Pale Swordman by Kek Arach. It's like a
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, dude. That's a fucking good release, man.
Romanticism, not raw black, but like romanticism, like black metal.
The
And
final
of
track,
course-
yeah.
Yeah. And of course, the other one is the new album by Cradle of Filth.
Oh yeah, not like you, mate. Listen to Cradle, not like you at all.
Dude, hey, I've been fighting the good fights of trying to rehabilitate the image of Cradle of Filth. 'Cause they're really good.
Man, I've got nothing against old Cradle. Dusk and Her Embrace is a banger of a record.
It's so good.
Fucking good.
I
And Nymphetamines most of our gateways.
yeah, I mean,
It
of
really
course,
is.
like looking back now, of course, like I mentioned before, like I like the first black metal so-called band that I listened to is Death Heaven, but it's the band that I listen to when I already know what is like the concept of what black metal is. But the first extreme metal band that I think most of us listen to is like Cradle of Filth.
Yeah, for sure, for
You know,
sure.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, for sure. It's like the image of it too, the imagery
Yeah.
around Cradle and Corpse Pain
And
and
still,
sort
like
of thing.
when you just start listening to metal, listen to shit like Slipknot, like
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth is heavy, like
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's legit still black metal.
Yeah, it's also catchy.
Yeah.
That track on Dusk and Her Embrace, is it Heaven Torn Asunder?
Yeah, Heaven Torn Asunder.
That's one of the most the most evilest riffs I've ever heard.
I've been just back and forth between the new Cradle of Filth and the old one. Like I've been listening to a lot of V Empire, which is like their EP. There's a song there called Queen of Winter Throne. It's like 10 minutes long.
Oh, I've not heard that one.
It's really fucking cool.
So it's a 10-minute long song?
Yeah, 10 minutes long song. Like Cradle of Filth songs are quite long, but it's really I would say quite good. And of course, Danny Field vocals really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against Cradle, man, because I think they've got a lot of young guys into metal,
Oh yeah.
but for me, I don't particularly love his vocals. Nothing against the instrumentals. I just personally I can't really get down on the that he does. But there's a track Absinthe without Faust.
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
called?
Absent with Faust.
With Faust.
Yeah, with
Absinthe
Faust.
with Faust. Okay. That riff about 2 minutes in is beautiful.
It's the one from Nymphetamine, right?
That's the one, man. Yeah. Which is the gateway album for a lot of people. A lot of people like.
Nymphetamine is actually a legit good album.
Yeah, man. It really is.
Yeah. Like
Gilded Cunt.
yeah,
I mean.
no,
that-
those era.
Wait. Which one's Gilded? Is Gilded Cunt and Amphetamine or Thornography?
No. Gilded Khan, I think, is in either Nymphetamine or is in Median.
Ah, I think it might be Amphetamine, huh?
Yeah.
But that takes the cake for best song title ever. Gilded Cunt.
I have no idea what
You-
Gilded mean.
Golden.
Oh.
You golden cunt.
But I'm like,
You gilded
like,
cunt.
Nymphetamine is like the best album during the down
Yeah,
period
man.
of Cradle of Filth. Like after I would say Median, they kind of go down here because they became like a poster child for
Yeah.
like popular extreme metal bands in 2000, and it go down until 2011 when they released Manticore. But since I would say 2013, 2014, like the from Hammer of the Witch is when they changed their lineup, and it sounds better. I should make a recurring segment where I just interview local band and ask them about their opinion on Cradle of Filth.
Dude, I reckon just have like a podcast about Cradle of Filth.
I'm just gonna ask
How you stand Danny Filth hard, man. That's the one, bro.
talk like 10-hour.
I would watch it. I would watch it.
10-hour podcast talk about nothing but Danny Filth boozy. Final questions. Is there any other things that you guys want to communicate with our followers, dear followers, blind sheeps?
Our
and,
dear followers,
is there
yes.
any future plans that you guys want to share
Man.
with us?
I would just say, like, just keep an eye out for new content that's coming soon. And I really hope that we can blacken a stage very close to you soon and hopefully share the stage with amazing bands in the scene. That's my main hope.
And of course, when we can play show, I think it's given that you guys, the audience, should also expect merchandise and a lot of
Yes. Make some merch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. It has been quite a interesting evening.
It's been emotional, lads.
I am thoroughly fucked up, and thank you guys for coming out tonight.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Wonderful. Oh my god.